I'm Doria Fleischer, your Charles County Community Engagement Coordinator, and I'm here at the 2021 Community Resource Day for Charles County. It is windy, it is sunny, and it's a little bit chilly, but it is a wonderful day for us to be out and about supporting our residents. I had the opportunity to stand here with Corey Young, and Corey, it's a miracle that we got you to just stand still long enough to talk with us, yes?
It sure is, yes.
I know this is a really busy day for you. You're here in two different roles, right?
Yes.
Tell us about what you're doing here today.
So I'm actually the Assistant Director of Lifestyles of Maryland, which is a local nonprofit here in Southern Maryland. And I'm also the chair of the Charles County Homeless and Emergency Shelter Committee, which is the sponsor of this event and the main partner.
Wonderful. And tell us about Community Resource Day. What is this?
This is actually our 15th year of operating the Community Resource Day. This is a one-stop shop of services in our community. If you are in need of anything in our community, from food, clothing, transportation, housing, financial assistance, and even employment on this year, we are here to help serve you. There is more than 45 agencies here that provide services to our residents here in the county that are here to provide on-site services.
I love it. And I've been walking around and looking. You have some really cool stuff, everything from getting a haircut, getting your birth certificate. What other things? Applying for a job, yes?
Yes, so this year is unique. Of course, now we have an employment services that is available in our Legends Club. So we have about 7 different employers that are doing on-site interviews and taking applications. We do have someone who's providing free haircuts and cosmetology services. Everything that's offered here today is free. So all of the services, all of the education and information, everything that's provided, our vendors are offering to our community.
I love it. What an amazing day. I know, though, it only happens once a year. So if somebody isn't able to attend Community Resource Day but wants to utilize some of the services that you guys have put together, what's the best place for them to find that information? Where do they go?
They can certainly contact Lifestyles of Maryland. We can be reached toll free, 1-866-293-0623. And our email is info@lifestylesofmd.org. This event is annual, and typically it does happen around the 3rd or 4th Wednesday in October. So if anyone is interested in serving as a vendor for next year, wants to volunteer, or wants services, we welcome you to participate next year.
Corey, it's obvious that this event took a lot of people coming together to get this set up and funded. Tell us who sponsored this event.
Yes, we certainly want to thank our sponsors and our supporters of this event, our Charles County Commissioners, Charles County Department of Community Services, Charles County Public Libraries, Southern Maryland Tri-County Community Action Committee, and our Southern Maryland Local Homeless Coalition. We could not have done this without their support and their funding.
Community Resource Day would not be possible without the support of many volunteers. I'm here with 2 of them today, Dina Willett and Linda Keaton. Dina, tell us about what you are doing here today. What made you want to volunteer?
Well, I actually work for the school system. I'm a parent liaison for Dr. Brown Elementary School, and we were, sending out the flyers, and I just decided to come in and help and see what it's all about.
Wonderful. And what are your jobs today?
Right now, we are directing people in and making sure they have registered for everything, the raffle, and telling them where they can go for what they're looking for.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Linda, you got specifically recruited by me, yes? I appreciate you being here.
It's good to be recruited by family, but also I worked for the school system. I'm a retired school teacher, so I'm always looking for ways to give back to the community.
I love it. Thank you for being here today. It's always nice to be able to call on retired friends and say, are you free to help come and support the community? So thank you for doing it.
Our pleasure.
I'm here with Sandy Washington, Executive Director of Lifestyles of Maryland. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us, Ms. Washington.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So I assume that while this is such a huge amount of work for Lifestyles to help contribute to this event, there's also something beautiful about looking around and seeing all of these people here today.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. We changed the name of this event many years ago from Homeless Resource Day to Community Resource Day because we didn't want to have people that were on the brink of homelessness or in need to feel that this wasn't for them. And I love how this works out because we want people to come through the door having a need, but leaving having that need met. And isn't that terrific? This is not an average information fair. This is about getting services to the people in a limited amount of time with all of the partners at the table being able to deliver.
I love the efficiency of that, and I think it's amazing to see how many different agencies and vendors and groups came together. This is beautiful. So what is Lifestyles doing when Lifestyles isn't at events like this?
Goodness. Providing the services, anything from homelessness, working with folks that are homeless, to those that are at risk, to emergency financial assistance for rent. We from the cradle to the grave, and I truly mean from the cradle to the grave. I mean, we've helped people that are going into labor, and then helping those that have to bury their loved ones, and many times those that are homeless go through the funeral process for their families as well. So yeah, cradle to the grave, that's what we do.
We're so lucky in Charles County to have an organization like Lifestyles providing that support, so thank you. It's chilly here today, and I know winter is coming. With the winter season approaching, if our community members want to do something to help support residents who are experiencing homelessness or struggling with poverty, what can we do as residents to help support?
You know, every person makes a difference, and everything that someone's able to contribute, whether it is toiletries or blankets or coats or their time, from volunteering to, we have a tremendous need for staffing for residents. Once we open our shelters, they're 24/7. So, we need people to be able to support that and help those that are in need. That's our major thing right now, is the staffing, which is really exciting because today we have a whole employment area. And I was telling one of the residents that are in line for services today looking for a job, I said, see me when you leave, because I want you to tell me that today you were employed.
That's a wonderful story. I'm hoping a lot of people can walk out today saying, these are the things I got taken care of. I got a job. I got my needs met. That's wonderful. So if somebody wants to help support Lifestyles with time, with donations, they can go to the Lifestyles website. Is the best place to find you?
Yes, that is it. Go to our website. There's a myriad of options there that I'm sure will fit the needs of the people. If you're out there and you're trying to say, what can I do? There's something for you. And I just want to say, our partners, I know Corey had mentioned our Homeless Coalition. It is comprised of so many people in our community, our public school system, our departments of social services. All of those partners come together, from EMTs to folks that are educating their children, are out making this happen each year. And they work all year long trying to serve a population. So we appreciate the partners.
What an inspiration to be at Community Resource Day this October and seeing all of our community come together to make sure that our residents experiencing homelessness and struggling with poverty have the supports they need. While today has been an amazing day, and as it was described, a one-stop shop for needs to be met, please remember that these resources are available all year round. Thank you so much.
COVID has been tough, and our local economy is still recovering. This holiday, keep the cheer here and shop local in Charles County. You'll find great ideas at local shops, restaurants, and attractions. Local gifts bring cheer to more than just the recipient. They help business owners keep their doors open. They help neighbors keep their jobs, and your money stays in Charles County, keeping our economy strong. So keep the holiday cheer here and help our businesses recover. 'Tis the season. Shop local in Charles County.
Applying for jobs with Charles County government is now easier and more efficient. Visit www.charlescountymd.gov for more information.
I'm Cathy Thompson. I'm the Preservation and Long Range Planning Supervisor for Charles County Government. And I am pleased to announce that there is a new publication available on Charles County history and architecture. The title of the book is In the Midst of These Plains, Charles County Buildings and Landscapes. And the project began really over 20 years ago when Charles County worked with the Maryland Historical Trust on a grant-funded project to update the Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties. So over the course of 5 years, we documented 80 sites a year, and that culminated in adding over 300 new properties to the Maryland inventory. And one of the things that I'm most proud of about this book is it really includes a lot of new types of resources. So when the survey update began, most of the historic sites in Charles County that had been documented and that were recognized as historic were pre-Civil War dwellings that were very high style. So our Rose Hill and our Smallwood Retreat and other very important landmarks. And what this survey, one of the main goals of this survey was to broaden the record of other types of resources. So we spent a lot of time documenting agricultural buildings, especially tobacco barns, homes that were built after the Civil War, homes that were built and occupied by the majority of Charles County citizens, whether they were tenant farmers or small landowners. The survey looked at churches, including African American churches that hadn't been included in the inventory. It looked at schools and a whole range of buildings that previously we really didn't think of as our inventory of historic landmarks. So I'm glad to share this new information in this book, and hopefully the goal of the project is ultimately to preserve more buildings. So I hope it inspires property owners to care for their homes, preserve them, and to continue to share their stories. So the title of the book is In the Midst of These Plains, Charles County Buildings and Landscapes. And the title is taken from a quote from Isaac Weld, who was an Irishman who traveled to Charles County and throughout North America in the 1790s. And while he was passing from the ferry on the Potomac River to Port Tobacco, he noted the landscape, and he described it this way: in the midst of these plains are the remains of several good houses, which show that the county was once very different to what it is now. And I felt that that was a great title for the book because it really sort of captured the changes in the landscape over time. But this survey was really documenting a change in the landscape in Charles County that started in the middle of the 20th century and has, especially with the growth in the development district and in the Waldorf area. So there were similarities between that quote taken during the American Revolution and where we are today. So the book was co-authored by Nicole Dillman, who is an architectural historian with extensive experience in Charles County and throughout Maryland. And Nicole really took that draft manuscript, added areas where we still had limited information, and really brought the project to fruition. The project was sponsored by the Maryland Historical Trust, who provided the initial grant funding for the project and worked with us over the many years.
Hi, I'm Mike Mazzio. I'm the Vice President of the Historical Society of Charles County, and I'm also the Chair of the Friends of Rich Hill. We are honored to be able to present this new book, In the Midst of These Plains, about Charles County's architecture, and we are honored to sell this book because 100% of the proceeds are going to historic Rich Hill. Now, Rich Hill was built in 1729 by Dr. Gustavus Brown, a prominent physician who came from Scotland. When he died in 1762, he was one of the wealthiest men in all of Maryland. So the county, while the county is rehabilitating the structure, our committee is getting the house ready for its interpretation. Our committee has an interpretive plan for Rich Hill. There's 5 components. The first is to tell the story of Dr. Brown and his family and the history. And we have going to have a gallery upstairs in Rich Hill that features Dr. Brown and his family and his children and everything about them. What's very significant about Rich Hill, another part of the interpretive plan, this is where John Wilkes Booth and David Harold came after assassinating President Abraham Lincoln, and they stayed on the property, not in the house, for 4 days. So another part of the interpretive plan is to tell the story of John Wilkes Booth and the role of the owner at the time, Samuel Cox, and his role in helping John Wilkes Booth. And of course, what went on with Samuel Cox and his life. Now, because there are stories that John Wilkes Booth came into the parlor of the house we are furnishing the parlor back to 1865, and because we know for a fact Samuel Cox's son, Samuel Cox Jr., looked out his window upstairs and saw a booth, we are furnishing the Samuel Cox Jr. bedroom upstairs. So those are the two rooms that we are going to furnish. The other rooms of the house is part of our interpretive plan. We are having an exhibit in a room on the enslaved African Americans who toiled at Rich Hill. We have information about the names of the slaves through the history of Rich Hill, and we have information about some of the things that they did on the farm. So that is the third part of our interpretive plan. Another part of our interpretive plan is the architecture. When the county acquired Rich Hill, one of the first things the county did was to remove the plaster walls in Rich Hill. And behind those walls were the original walls and studs, beams, bricks built in 1729. So people have been fascinated with the architecture of Rich Hill. So we're going to leave one of the rooms upstairs open to exactly for you to see the bare bones of that room and tell an architectural story. And the fifth part of our interpretive plan is about the archaeology of Rich Hill. And the Charles County Archaeology Society, along with our head archaeologist, Esther Reed, they have done extensive work already to find absolute phenomenal information about Rich Hill so far. So that's the fifth part of our interpretive plan. So the proceeds from this book, in the midst of these plans, are going to fund our different interpretive plans. And that includes exhibits, that includes furnishings, and that includes telling the story of historic Rich Hill.
So the book is available locally at Martin's in La Plata, and it's also available at Stagg Hall in the Port Tobacco Historic District, or you can contact the Charles County Historical Society.